All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the press. I see we have a nice full house this morning. Our first speaker today is the Honorable Joachim Andre Henry. He is the Minister for Equity, Social Justice and Empowerment. He has an announcement to make this morning.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the press. Yes, of course, you would have heard in time past that the Prime Minister announced a policy with regards to land ownership. I am pleased to report this morning that 40 persons in Odsa will be receiving a letter to own the property where they are on Crown lands because they have been there for 40 years and more. In addition to this, last week we prepared letters to approximately 80 persons so far, both in Bel Air and in Odsa, would be owning land at just $2.50 per square foot. Lands ranging between 5,000 and in some instances up to 10,000 square foot. The Prime Minister has kept his promise. And if today someone can purchase a parcel of land at $14,000, $8,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 to own a parcel of land, you do not need to come up with $75,000. And guess what? The cabinet approved that with a 10% deposit, they can now have 5 years to pay for the property. It means that you do not have to go for a loan. It means that you could work that out with the Ministry of Planning and pay for a parcel of land, and now you own land in St. Lucia. This is a promise made by the Prime Minister, and I'm happy that the recipients of such a wonderful initiative has taken place in Castries Southeast, in the community of Odsa, incidentally, where we launched Lisa yesterday, and in Bel Air. So this will continue across St. Lucia. So those persons who are hearing it, this is what Prime Minister Philip J. is about, so that every St. Lucian that we can possibly reach can own a piece of this beautiful island we call home, we call Helen of the West Indies. That is the news for this morning, and I'm happy that you could report this.
Any questions?
Good day, sir.
Good morning.
Morning. You said 40 persons have acquired land. Was there a selection process? Did they apply for it, or was there some survey or some assessment that they qualified for?
There was an occupational survey done by a physical planner. Mr. Michael Hines was hired to work with us. He's a physical planner, so there's an occupational survey. How long you've been on the land, and it must be a residential plot, less than 8,000 square foot of land. Do you have how long you've been living there? So that was calculated. We have persons who lived there up to 11 years, 10 years, 15 years. I saw as much as 26 years, but consistent with the policy came out of cabinet, it is 30 years and over, and 30 persons living in Odsa qualified to receive a parcel of land based on occupational survey, as well as other intelligence for us to satisfy the cabinet conclusion.
And you were saying that these persons had previously occupied the land.
Yes.
So it was like just renegotiating the deal with them?
No, the policy, the cabinet, the Prime Minister indicated, it's a policy statement by the Prime Minister, Philip J. that if you live on a parcel, on a residential plot of land for 30 years or more, you will become an owner of the land free of charge. This is what has to be ascertained. There's no negotiations. There is an occupational survey because we are rationalizing the land there. This is Crown lands. Government acquired the land, it's Crown. And we did an occupational survey, and based on the policy of government, the policy of the Prime Minister, these 30 individuals qualify and will be receiving letters accordingly.
And you're saying there's a likelihood that it could spread out across the country, other communities as well?
The Prime Minister's policy statement is not just for Odsa and Bel Air. It is for everybody who qualifies. So if persons are occupying a residential residential, less than 8,000 square foot. Right? It must be residential. It must not be commercial nor institutional. It must be less than 8,000 square foot. Residential, not institutional, not a shop, not commercial. If you are occupying Crown lands that is residential and less than 8,000 square foot, you are qualified to receive it free of charge. That is the policy guidance. And when the occupational survey is done, that would be ascertained, and of course the necessary application would be done. Yeah?
Thank you, sir.
Good morning, Minister.
Morning.
Seeing that you will not be running this time around, what is next for you?
That's an interesting question. What next for me? I'm a quantity surveyor, and I belong to the Institute of Surveyors. And I had a very successful career as a quantity surveyor. And there's a lot of work to do in the built environment. I also have a grandson. And there's a lot to be done. And I'll continue to serve the government of St. Lucia in ways that I can. And the constituency, you need as many hands as possible to work in a country. So I'll join you. There's a lot of beautiful things to be done. So rest assured, I will be occupied. Yeah? Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker is the Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Philip J. Pierre, Minister for Finance, Economic Development, Youth Economy, and he's also the Minister for Justice and National Security. Prime Minister.
Thank you very much. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the press. I hope you had a very good weekend. Mine was fine, particularly yesterday. Had a very good day. I just want to inform you that the Cabinet of Ministers has approved the implementation of a Cyber Nations cybersecurity training program in St. Lucia with an initial cohort of 100 learners. Cybersecurity is a rapidly growing field with significant shortage of skilled professionals. St. Lucia, like many other nations, faces increased risks in its digital infrastructure as government services, financial systems, healthcare, and the private sector accelerate their digital transformation. Protexia, a recognized training provider with demonstrated experience in Barbados, Grenada, and St. Kitts, has proposed the delivery of its Cyber Nations Cybersecurity Analyst Training Program to 100 learners from St. Lucia. The program is designed to equip participants with the technical knowledge and industry-recognized certifications and hands-on skills necessary for successful careers in cybersecurity. Let me give you some details of the program. The duration is 6 months. The delivery is remote learning with lectures, self-paced modules, and up to 3 in-person sessions, orientation, mid-program, and graduation. Commitment: 30 hours weekly, full-time training. The curriculum sources: Protexia, Compact TIA, Cisco, Networking Academy, and other industry-recognized providers. Certifications: CompTIA Security Plus and related credentials. Eligibility. Preference for applicants with IT backgrounds, but open to all qualified applicants. Employment placement. Graduates who successfully complete the course and obtain their CompTIA Security Plus certification will receive employment placement assistance through the Cyber Nations Employer Coalition. The placement module includes 40% of graduates in the Government of St. Lucia's cybersecurity initiatives, 40% in local and regional private sector positions, and 40% in the Cyber Nations Global Employer Coalition placements will run for 12 months and are expected to be paid, enabling graduates to continue building practical experience. And the benefits: strengthened national cybersecurity resilience across government and critical sectors, development of a pool of certified cybersecurity analysts for St. Lucia, enhanced employability of solutions professionals in a highly demand global industry, and support for government's digital transformation initiatives such as DigiGov, Customs and Immigration, Internal Revenue Department, and Healthcare. Financial implications. The program to be implemented will cost the government of St. Lucia $750,000 US. And this was approved by Cabinet, and the process is ongoing, and we hope to start the training as soon as all aspects have been put in place. We think that the Youth Economy Agency will be the lead provider, or will be the lead, the area where the information will be collated and the students will be advised through the youth. The YA, the Youth Economy Agency, and the Ministry of Economic Development will also play a part in conjunction with the Office of the Prime Minister. We think cybersecurity is a very important area. I don't know if you heard, only on Saturday there was an attack on the airport in London. So we think that St. Lucia, and there have been some cyber attacks in St. Lucia. So we think that we should have a cohort of well-qualified and well-trained cybersecurity people, and the young people of St. Lucia who have shown great inclination towards IT and its programs. That's a good opportunity for them to increase their skills and to become globally employable. I want to tell you that there are countries in the region that have taken this initiative. There are countries in Barbados that have already, countries like Barbados and St. Kitts, people are already employed. And the important thing is they work from home and they get well paid, because there's a great global shortage for cybersecurity people. I think it's a good initiative for the people of St. Lucia, and I urge young people to contact the Youth Economy, the YA, the Youth Economy Agency, and to express their interest so we can start the cohorts going very shortly. Still on education, you may note yesterday that the government announced that the government intends to pursue its universal early childhood education. You know, it was this government that put the universal primary school education policy when we built the Carmen Areni School, and that is why you may not recall that children used to go to school part-time, something that the young people in St. Lucia are not aware that it's a government of the St. Lucia Labour Party that stopped the part-time attendance of children. So when you had universal primary school, then we went in the universal secondary school, where when we built the 5 new secondary schools, then we had universal secondary school education. and then we move into a university graduate per household, hoping you can get universal education as far as our advanced education is concerned. But we think that there's been a shortage of skills at the kindergarten and at the preschool level. You may note that the government is making contributions to all the non-governmental preschools in the country. We're making a contribution to them, and we're also helping the parents pay their fees. So we believe that the government now will make available facilities, either for the private, as we speak. A facility in Miku North is being built in Prague. It's being renovated in Prague as we speak. So the government will make it possible that every child will have access to early childhood education. We think it's a fundamental area in the education of the people of this country. Every child will have access to universal education, preschool education. And it's going to be a mix with the private sector and the government sector. So this is an initiative that the government will pursue in its next term. It's going to be a practical promise that the government will initiate by helping both the existing preschools and encouraging in terms of education, in terms of the curriculum, in terms of what is taught at these schools, in terms of the physical features of these schools, so that our early childhood learners can be well equipped for the world as they go into the infant and primary schools. Finally, you may have known that we had a major launching yesterday of one of our first candidates, our new candidates for the Castries Southeast seat, who is presently a member of the Senate, and she was communication director of our party, Sister Liza. I think you will hear from her in a while. And we think that it was a very good launch, and we want to thank the people of St. Lucia for their attendance. We also want to thank Brother, or the Honorable Joachim Henry, who was the candidate who won the seat in the last election, and he has voluntarily decided that he will stand down, and he gave his full support, as you saw yesterday, evidence-based support. You saw him on the platform himself, so there's no need for speculation, because you saw him there himself. He was not there for AI. He wasn't there as a robot. He was there himself. You could touch him. You could hear him. You could see what he wore. He was perspiring like me. So it was a real situation, real. I want to thank Joachim Henry. And that is how that is how our party operates. Our party operates smoothly, with good transitions, with understanding that our principal goal is to serve the people of St. Lucia. Not our own selfish motives, not the need for revenge, not the need to say it's our turn. The people of St. Lucia, and that's what our kindness are instructed, that they must always keep their focus on the people of the country. The people. It's not about them. It's not about their own whims and fancies. It's not about them believing they have a God-given right to represent the people. The people must accept them. And as I said to our new candidates, and I'll be saying to all our other candidates, because we have 4 more candidates to launch, 3 or 4. 4 more candidates to launch. We have a new candidate in Beaufort South, we have a new candidate in Choiseul, we have a new candidate in Babonneau, and we have a new candidate in the seat in Miku South. Very excited about the candidate in Miku South, Dr. Shanda Harrison, a very prolific young doctor who has worked in the community all her life. And what you have to note about Dr. Harrison, she's never been into private practice. She's never been into private practice. She's worked in the community, from OKU to St. Jude, and she's a community doctor, a practicing doctor working with people. Listen to people all the time, listen to their problems in a real way. She knows when to cry. Because she's seen real pain. She understands pain. She feels pain. She understands pain. She knows what it means for healthcare. We're very happy that she's joined Lisa, another young lady in our folk. I feel very happy that we've been able to attract that caliber of candidates. Candidates who understand people, candidates who will not insult people, candidates who will not ridicule people, candidates who will not get involved in personal character assassination. And I've warned my candidates that on our platform, we're not going to engage in that. We're not going to engage in the gutter politics and the mudslinging and the lies and the innuendo and the false promises. And because we're going to deal with facts, we're going to deal with the performance of our government, we're going to deal with verifiable fact, evidence. Our economy has advanced for the last 4 years. Evidence. Unemployment is at the lowest ever. Evidence. We have the Youth Economic Agency. Evidence. Micro and small business people at evidence. More investment ever in the history of St. Lucia for a long time. Evidence. That's what we're going to be that way. Because we believe that our performance, the performance of the St. Lucia Labour Party government, our performance, not imagined things, our performance. When we measure our economy, it's not done by me. It's not done by any member of my cabinet. It's done by recognizable institutions, the IMF, the World Bank, the ECCB. They are the ones who measure economies, not me. And they've said that this economy has progressed. 4 years of consistent growth. 4 years. Lowest unemployment ever. Most foreign direct investment for, I'm sure, I don't want to say ever, but I think it's close to ever, if not ever. More hotel rooms been in the country. 500 of them are going to be opened shortly. Evidence-based. And that is the record under which we are asking the people of St. Lucia to re-elect us on our performance. On our performance. We want you to measure our performance. Measure what we've done. Look at what we've done. Look at the contribution that the St. Lucia Labour Party in government has done in the last 4 years. That's all we're asking to the people. Measure us on our performance. That's all we're saying. And the crowning glory of it all, when we're going to be St. Jude Hospital, which is going to be ready to admit patients. So I think that we are in a good place. We have some issues. The issue of crime, the vexing issue of crime, which it's something that causes all of us to miss sleep. All of us. Because there is no reason. I want to ask anyone, why do you think that a government, any prime minister, would like a country where there's an escalation in crime? Any prime minister. This is a question I want to ask. Why do you think that this government would want the crime situation to be what it is? And the question is, no one has come with a viable alternative except do more. That's all they said, do more. What's the government doing? Do more. The government has made available to the police all the necessary equipment and expertise that they need and that they ask for based on our fiscal position. We are going to be enrolling or putting to work over 50 beach rangers, something that was cancelled, that's abandoned by the last government. These beach rangers are now in training. They're going to be given vehicles, equipment, and they're going to be ready to police our beaches, our parks, our tourist attractions. 50 odd rangers. This is the government's millions of dollars. This is the government's contribution to help to stall the incidence of crime on visitors and locals alike. Then what else? More recruits. This week or early next week, I'm going to give the police 30 new high-powered computers so they can put together their crime management module that the commission speaks about this week. And 2 new vehicles for the beach rangers. We are at the final stages of work on the Grove / Northern Police Headquarters. As we speak, we are putting in more air-conditioned units at the Southern Police Headquarters. We've moved the ancillary police into a new location because there were issues with the site. We continue to have constant repairs on police stations. We found police stations in a complete mess. There were cupboards, there were pests, broken down cupboards. The government has invested. And I want to tell you that this government has invested more directly in the police force than any government for a very long time. We do not want the police to exist on the benevolence of people holding balls and fundraising equipment. And fundraising issues. We put direct money in the police. That is our record. And I want that record challenged. I want a challenge. And what about training? We're training scores of policemen at Monroe College based on government's 1 university graduate per household and government's first-generation scholarships. But some of these recruits, they are the first ones in their families who went to university. Government is supporting them. Plus all training that we have. We send policemen to train on a regular basis. I'm in discussion with the Minister of National Security in Jamaica to continue the training the support we've got from the Jamaica police force in terms of training our policemen. So this government is we're not only talking about it. In police equipment, police fixtures, at that level, police furniture for police stations, direct government involvement, direct government. This is what the government is doing. But we're not happy with the crime situation. We're not happy. And every time there's one murder too much. But let's not pretend that the government is not putting its best foot forward with the resources available to us. But the police are the ones who have to have the operational flexibility and the operational expertise to help combat crime. And we say these statements glibly. What's the government doing more? Let the government do more. Let the government do more. The government is doing more every day. This week, 30 new computers. A few months ago, new vehicles, motorcycles, new police stations, more training. But what is the responsibility of the public as far as crime is concerned? How many parents know where their children are? How many parents talk to their young boys? The government is offering counseling. We have a situation where the SSDF is involved every day. We assisted non-governmental organizations. And you may recall, the last assistance that we gave to the Ubuntu movement was criticized by the opposition. It was criticized when we worked with that organization, Rice and Lucia, etc., to help in the social intervention as far as crime is concerned. We have the Youth Economy Agency giving grants to young men to help them in the new business. We have the Boys Matter program. I don't know whether you went where young men are involved in mushroom cultivation. I don't know if you remember that. So we have these broad statements, and it's very, very sad that the opposition, in their desperation, believe they can ride the crime wagon to win an election. Crime escalated in this country in 2017. That's when murders escalated. Look at the record. Look at the record. Look at the record. Not something we're proud of. And at that time, I was in the opposition. You can never find me, when I was leader of the opposition, ever politicizing crime. Ever saying to the Prime Minister, what you doing about crime? The Prime Minister himself said, Kenny can't, but I will. He said so. I've never said such. I've never blamed the former government for the crime situation. I've never. Because I know, if all the goodwill in the world, no prime minister would want crime to escalate in the country. No minister would want crime to escalate in the country. No commissioner of police would want crime to come in St. Lucia. So I want you, members of the press and public of St. Lucia, to take this thing seriously. And what is our responsibility? What is our responsibility? Are we taking our children seriously? Are we speaking to our children? Are we giving the police information, even though when we have it, and even when that information is given in an anonymous nature? Are we doing it? And once more, again, I want to make it clear to you that the government will give the police all the support they need, and the government will not only support the police, but the government will hope that the police will use all legal means at their disposal to deal with the crime situation in this country. And finally, I want to express my condolences to the families of those who lost their lives. Not easy, regardless of the side. And government is also looking at the legislative situation. The Attorney General, as we speak, is looking at the laws as it relates to gangs in this country, as we speak. But these things are not easy. They're human rights. There's freedom of association. We have to deal with things. And there are lawyers who will deal with that. The government does not deal with the system as far as the judiciary is concerned. The government can't tell the magistrates what to do. The government can't tell the judges what to do. The government creates the laws within the framework of the Constitution. That's all the government can do. There's a clear separation of powers. So those who glibly say these things for political benefit, they know differently because they were in government. There was crime during that time. Between 1970 and 1921, there was crime. There was crime. We didn't like it. They didn't like it. We didn't like it either. So why now must we pretend that this is a new phenomenon in St. Lucia? Not a wanted phenomenon. Every murder is too much. Every murder, one murder, too many. One, much less 50 or whatever we have. So I want to give the public the assurance that the government will continue to do all we can. The government has mandated the police to use all possible legal and constitutional methods to reduce the rate of crime, particularly murders in this country.
Question. Did Labour Commission a poll related to the outcome of the elections? What did your poll predict? Because Guy Joseph did Labour Commission a poll related to the outcome of the election. What did your poll predict? Because Guy Joseph is saying that the poll predicts a 13-4 in favor of the UWP.
I have always taken the position that I don't respond to people who are seeking notice. I'm not responding, you understand? If the gentleman knows what the Labour Party is doing better than the Labour Party, good luck to him. What I know is that the last election, the Cashew Southeast seat was won by the St. Lucia Labour Party. That's what I know. Next question.
Labour seems to be on a route to victory, especially with the tactical and strategic missteps of the opposition party. What are some of the biggest obstacles in the path of a smooth victory of Labour? Is it the delay of the containers for St. Jude Hospital? Is it your biggest fear? The threat of storms destroying all the progress in the middle of an election campaign? Is it a constant battle against misinformation and propaganda? What is the process, as an expert, what is the process of changing some of your candidates?
As far as I know, we've done all the changes for our 15 candidates. There's no change of candidate in the horizon. But politics is a very flexible thing. It's very fluid. But as far as I know, we have our 15 candidates, and the two candidates, one, the Honorable Stevenson King in the Castries North seat, and Honorable Richard Fredericks in the Castries Central seat. Honorable Stevenson King is running as a patriot on the Blue Wave, and Honorable Richard Fredericks is running as an independent with Team RF. This is what I know. In terms of new kind, I don't know. Secondly, I cannot determine what the opposition does. I would have preferred if the election campaign was not about Bolums and Gaji, and I would have preferred it. I would have preferred if we had a seasoned discussion based on truth, based on fact. I would have preferred it. I'd have loved to have a debate on the performance of the economy. I'd love to have a debate on how is it possible, or how we will pay for students at the South Louis College, when just a few years ago, before the South Louis College needed tremendous restructuring and reduction of costs and even privatization. I would have loved to have that debate. I'd have loved to have that debate on the 2.5% levy. I'd have loved to have that debate on insurance for farmers, when only a few months ago we launched an insurance for farmers. I'd love to have that debate. I'd love to have that debate. I'd have preferred the debate where there was no character assassination, where there was no innuendo, where there was no downright, outright lies, provable lies. I'd have loved to have that debate. But I cannot determine what the opposition does. What I can determine is what our party does. This is why I told Lisa yesterday. That's what I can determine. As leader of the Labour Party, I can determine what my candidates do. My candidates, the candidates of the solution, the candidates of the Solution Labour Party, I can determine what they do and what they see. This is the mandate that the convention of the Solution Labour Party gave me to do. Candidates of the Solution Labour Party. I can't determine what the opposition does. You speak about my barriers. Every day, I've spoken to you, and you may recall, because you hear very often, that my greatest fear is a hurricane. I've said so many times before. This is not new. A hurricane. That's my greatest fear, a hurricane. I've seen the devastation of hurricanes. I've seen all the time. That's my greatest fear. I believe that the government's performance, the people of St. Lucia, when they view the government's performance, will re-elect us into office. I'm convinced on our performance. The latest was the grant for the musicians and the creators in our society. I was out on Saturday night, and I listened to a band, a local band, a band I've seen develop. I was joking with the people. I knew their name before. You understand? And I saw the band develop. It's a very good. I like these things. These local people. You understand? Young men. I know the leader very well. I hadn't heard it for a while. I hadn't heard him for a while. And this is the development that we need as far as our creators are concerned. And that's what the government is doing. That's what the government is doing. All aspects, young people. Last night you heard about a young sportsman, I think it was Nathan, a cricketer from Forest here. Then there's Descartes, and by the way, I want to congratulate Akim Ogis for being chosen on the West Indies T20 team for Nepal. And that development came through the Labour Party and its high performance center, which the Labour Party initiated. That's what we did for sports. And that's the record we're going on. That's the record we're going on. The high performance center of our party, which we initiated. The work on the Darren Sammy ground, which makes it attractive for international play. That's our record. The work on the Minnefield Park that can now be used as a training ground for cricketers. That's our record. That's the record. That's the record we're going on. We've got an oversubscription for the creative industry grants. The minister asked me whether I can increase it. Under consideration. That's a record. That's our record. That's our record. So that's what we become. We cannot determine what the opposition does. We don't like them to be different. We don't like them not to get involved in the character assassination and the wild statements that they make every day. We don't like them not to stop attacking people's children. Stop attacking 5-month-old babies. Stop it. But that's the ball they want to play. But I'm sure the public will not play that ball. When the time comes, and I want to also remind you, we only want to call it elections. When the time comes, you want to wave that? And when the time comes, and we call the elections, the people, and I call the elections, I call the elections, the people of St. Lucia will return the Labour Party with a resounding majority. That's it.
Question.
Yes.
On Palestine.
On
Palestine.
Palestine.
Prime Minister, with the United Kingdom moving formally to recognize the state of Palestine, could you clarify St. Lucia's position
Look, we've
on
done that
Palestine?
a long time ago. St. Lucia was the first country since a very long time ago we recognized Palestine. Long time ago. We are an advanced country. You know. Minister Mbali was the ambassador a long time ago.
Okay, second question. Given Venezuela's recent decision to deploy additional forces to waters near Trinidad and Tobago, amid ongoing tensions with the United States, what is St. Lucia's position on this development, and how does your government view the potential implications for regional security and stability?
St. Lucia has always taken the position of the region being a zone of peace, the carry composition of a zone of peace, that our nation, our region should be free of war and conflict. We went to St. Vincent for the Argyll Declaration, where you outlined clearly how we believe that the problem between Venezuela and Guyana should be solved. Our position still holds that we think our region should be a region of peace. We think that we should be free of conflict regionally, internationally, and locally. Our position still holds that we think that our region should be maintained as a zone of peace.
Yes, Mr. Prime Minister, as we move into the political fervor, you know, the steam is building up. There's been a peculiar pattern. Over the last 4 elections, we've seen the electorate elect a new government. So there have been 4 prime ministers over the last 4 elections. You know, given the record of the SLP, you know, the youth economy especially, but then, you know, the opposition start taking crime as a negative issue. Do you think that the SLP has reached out to a larger population of people, young people, grown-up people? Do you think that your programs have solidified your position to be a good challenge for this next election?
First of all, I'll be very happy and grateful to St. Lucia if the buck of changing government stops this term. I was very grateful to them. But as I said before, let's talk about young people. Let's dive with the young people. If that's where we want to go, let's go into young people. Let's go into young people. Education. Education. 4 GXC subjects being paid. No facility fees. More scholarships, both in terms of first generation scholarships and 1 university per graduate scholarships. Repairs to schools, training of teachers, ensuring that the teachers get their material grant, paying teachers during summer, paying temporary teachers for summer. Education again. TVET. 4 TVET centers to ensure that students get trained, properly trained in the skills for the job market. Education. Education again. Train overseas for teachers. Education. I'm talking about young people. Grants to early child centers. Help payment the fees for parents to help their children to go to early childhood centers. I'm talking about education. 4 new schools being extended as we speak. 4. And you go and view it for yourself. Go and view it. Go to Anchipo. Go to Denby North. Go to Viewfort North. Go to Viewfort South. You will see the schools. You'll see them. That's not a dream. That's not something I'm imagining. I'm not saying to you, oh, we spend $10 million on schools. Yes, $10 million. Where is it? I'm saying to you, we are extending 4 new schools. Go see them. And that loan was negotiated by your humble servant with the African Export-Import Bank. The first time. And you know how the president of Nigeria was criticized and ridiculed when he came to St. Lucia. The African Export-Import Bank are the ones who finance these schools. As we speak, the schools are being built. They're there. You must have heard in the last government, oh, we spent $10 million to repair schools. Show it to me. I'm showing you what I did. So we talk about education for young people. Let's go into economic activity. The Youth Economy Agency. More than 1,000 grants given to young people. They bought equipment. We gave it to them. They got the grant. They got it in their hands. It wasn't a dream. It wasn't something that we said we would give them. They had it in their hands. Go to the Youth Economy Agency and ask them to let you visit these young people who got these loans, who expanded their business. The number of young people who their businesses have grown because of these grants. The training that they get. Next, on the 26th, there'll be a training for them in e-commerce to help them market their goods. They're working in the Taiwanese government with them. All the training that they got in running their business, it happened. You attended the programs. You saw the young people there. You saw them. So they get training at TVET and then they can go into their own business. So we talk about commercial and economic activity. Then sports. The Professional Football League. A match was played yesterday. The people got their salaries. They got their salaries at the end of September. They get at the end of August. They got their salaries. The players got money in their pocket. They got a check through the credit union or through the bank. Professional Football League. Professional Cricket League. You were there. I was there at the opening in Grosile. You saw it happen. When was that? Did it happen before? We talk about sports for young people. Then let's go further. We talk about the High Performance Center. We talk about improvement in the sporting facilities in the country. You see it. Go to Marshall Grounds. You see a brand new stand. You see the James Belville Court renovated, changing rooms, etc. You can see it for yourself. A brand new stadium in Grosile, which my colleague hid from me for a long time till I saw the opening. I could not believe that structure was behind the walls I saw. Look at VG Grounds, the SAB. You will see the improvement going on. You will see it. Go to Miku North. You will see the playing field being renovated. Go to Jackmel now. You will see light. Go to Forest here. We announced yesterday, lights are going on the forest field. Things you see, go to Anchipo. Go to the Hess school. You see the field being renovated. Things you see. Things you see. You see it. I'm not telling you I'd planned to do it. Or if I didn't lose, I would do it. It's there. So we're talking about sports. Then let's talk about social interventions. The whole gambit. SSDF. Helping parents to send their children to school. Counseling. Assisting parents. Now the assisting people, they have a new word for it, they call it handouts. Assisting people to improve the quality of their life, they call handouts. You think that's really? Assisting mothers with food vouchers, with scholarships, then bursaries, education, I forgot bursaries. Thousands of students got bursaries. Thousands got bursaries to go to secondary school, primary school, infant school, and government assisted with the preschool situation. Yeah. Yes. So you see, so I want to tell you that the things for young people. Okay, we started the hydroponic center for young people, hydroponics training. Go to Union, you will see it there. You will see the young people working there. You will see it. Skills training, the National Skills Development Center, people graduating with the CQV qualifications. It's happening. So you talk about young people. Young people have never had it, have never had the opportunity that they have now. And I say so without any fear of contradiction, based on evidence. Not based on speculation, not based on innuendo, not based on half-truths, based on evidence. Health, free screening for young women, monogram, free. Pap smears for young women, education for health education for young people, young women. I've been told now earlier signs that they must get their pap smears, they get their treatment if they need it. Get mammograms for them, for cancer, early detection, health for young people. So our record is clear. And that is what we're going to be running the elections on, our record. Our record. And that is why the opposition can't challenge our record. That's how they have to revert to all this slander and calumny on their platforms. Because they cannot challenge our record. You asked me about a poll. The Labour Party has done no polls that gave any certain for result. It didn't happen. It didn't happen. I don't know if anybody did a poll and you should put them for any other way. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's what you call reverse psychology. Who knows? But I can tell you, we've done no poll that says certain for. No poll. That never happened. It may have happened in the reverse way. But that's not my business. I don't deal with polls, I deal with reality. I deal when I go on the ground. That's why I tell my candidates, go on the ground and speak to people. Ask people what they want. Go on the ground and speak to them. Speak to them at their home. Speak to them at their places of recreation. Go speak to them, and they will tell you what they want. They will tell you how they feel. And I can tell you, the feeling that we get from them is they want more. They want more. Man, by nature, always wants more. But that's man's nature. He wants more. But I can tell you, they're satisfied with what this government has done. And you see it yesterday. You saw the thousands yesterday. No AI generated thing. No pictures of other places than put here. You saw it for yourself. You were there. You could touch the people. You saw thousands. You saw them. And what was remarkable was the number of young people in the crowd. That was remarkable. Remarkable number of young people in that crowd. Because young people know what's good. They know a good thing when they see it. And I can tell you, they've oversubscribed for the creative grants. Oversubscribed. I want to thank them. Because they speak to us. They talk to us. We converse with them. We converse with them based on our record. We say to them, we'd have loved to do a lot more. We don't make them false promises. We don't make promises that will never see the light of day. We said to them, listen, we've done that. We've done these things. We're going to do more based on what we've done. And you speak about young people, tax benefits. Young people now we've increased the tax threshold. Young people now who get less than $24,000 a year don't pay any taxes. Not even, and we forgot the minimum wage. So our record is very, very clear. Sometimes I'm the Prime Minister, and sometimes I forget what the government has done. And people remind me. People remind me. My colleagues remind me. And the people on the ground remind me of government's initiatives. And we want to do more. And in the next term, we will do more. Thank you.
All right, well, yesterday at the launching in Odsa by the Central Labour Party, you saw and heard the latest candidate by the party, and that would be in the person of Miss Lisa Jawahir for Castries South East, and she's here to speak about her launching and other things and any other questions that you may have. Jawahir.
Good morning, members of the press. Good afternoon, members of the press. Thank you so much for being here. It is certainly a privilege and an honor for me to answer any questions you have. But first, I just want to start off by thanking the Prime Minister and political leader for placing his confidence and trust in me and endorsing me as his candidate for the constituency of Castries South East for the upcoming general election. Yesterday was truly a remarkable experience. I have usually taken the platform in introducing members of the party and serving as the spokesperson for the SLP. But yesterday I was present in a different capacity, and Castries South East really brought it. The welcome that they gave to St. Lucians, whether they were there in person or viewing the live, it was truly indicative of the fact that we are strong in that constituency. And we pay homage to Honorable Joachim Henry and the foundation he has laid by serving as the parliamentary representative for Castries South East. And we want to ensure we build up upon what he has started and take Castries South East to the next level. So I am really grateful for everybody who participated in yesterday's proceedings, everyone who came out to support, those from far and wide, and of course, members of the SLP. Yesterday really showed me that the SLP's machinery is well oiled and we are ready for whenever the Prime Minister rings the bell. Castries South East will be one of the first seats to be counted. You're welcome. You're with it?
Good afternoon. If you are to be elected as the representative, what are some of the areas within the constituency that you see needs to be tackled first?
A major part of what we see needs to be addressed is the fact that Castries Southeast plays such a critical part in our country. At one point, we used to be the breadbasket of St. Lucia, feeding, our country. We serve as a gateway, and I mentioned that in the speech last night, and many persons did not realize, because Castries Southeast was not really seen as a place you stop. It's just a place that you would pass through. But being the second largest constituency, there's so much that we have to offer that people don't even know about. People were surprised to know of Peter Floor, not knowing that you could do the hike there. It's a closer option for our tourists. Not saying they cannot go to Soufrière, but if they want to head up to Forestier in quick time, in about 10 minutes, experience the trail and everything in about an hour and a half, still make it back in time in Castries to, patronize from the vendors and their stalls and enjoy other parts of our country rather than rushing from the south and making it back to the cruise ship in time. It is an option. We have Sandy Fe, where the parrots come out, the Amazona versicolor comes out when the fruit trees are bearing, and it is such a sight to behold. And here lies an opportunity for bird watching in our own constituency. As I mentioned, it's a constituency that you must pass through to go to the north, whether you come from the west coast and you pass through Lacroix or Cul-de-Sac, or the east coast, Bexar, Mark, Odsa, you must pass through Castries Southeast. And for the second largest constituency, we do not yet have a police station. We do not yet have a fire station. And it's not just a matter of saying we want one because every constituency has one. We're justifying that by our numbers. And the fact that the nearest police station, which is in Dennery, or fire station, also serves communities in the southern end. And so it requires some strategic planning. We've had some conversations as it relates to launching my manifesto. I did speak last night of pedestrianized walkways from cul-de-sac to the Badlil, and we didn't just wake up and say these things at the launch yesterday. I've had conversations with persons who know about these things, and we've driven and walked the constituency and understand why it is important, because in times past, many of our elders did not realize that they would be building their homes so close to a highway. And so sometimes you pass, you have to be extremely careful. The kids are running along the way. And we've had some challenges and tragedies along that highway. But having the presence of the police station, the fire station, you have that support from law enforcement and, that response in quick time in the event that some disaster occurs. As it relates to, so we did cover on tourism, and we covered on safety and security. A major part of that constituency is agriculture, and there is so much land that is untapped and underdeveloped. Now, despite the fact that we have fed the nation in times past, we have opportunities where when you go to Cul-de-Sac, you see these factory shells are still there, but some of them are not in use. We need to make use of them. Why is it that we still seeing our mangoes fall on the ground, and or we pick them, go to Vieux-Fort, ship them to other countries for them to process the juices and sell it back to us in Tetra Packs on the supermarket shelves? Why can't we do that right in our own country? Whether we are working on value-added items such as drying the fruits and packaging it as well, like you see happens in Trinidad. We want to take agriculture in particular to the next level and make it more interesting, especially for our young persons. Prime Minister just spoke about, the aquaponics and hydroponics, and how a young person may not necessarily have to dig into soil to see some sort of, to be part of modern day agriculture. A large part of Castries Southeast, the land, is still under proud development. A large part of Bexar, Labé, Wavin-Poisson, some of the people still don't have title or ownership to that land. Some of them are not able to go to the banks to get a mortgage. And so we want to engage in some serious land rationalization practices in Castries Southeast. The current parliamentary rep, Honorable Joachim Henry, has set the wheels in motion for persons in the community of Bel Air to get rightful ownership, those who have been living in that community for more than 30 years on the land that they have built their homes. Also in Odsa, there is some proud development. These Two, land developments are in advanced stages. The surveyors have already come and surveyed. They've had conversations with members of the community. Some persons recently, up until last week, called me and said they finally got their documents so they can, get some crown land. And it is something that all St. Lucians should be proud of. It is something that all young people should want. That is to own a piece of your country. And it is my desire to see that persons from Castries Southeast, that we are able to have that. Yesterday, I spoke extensively about the talent that we have in our communities. Prime Minister spoke of Stephen Natrum from Forestier, young man coming from humble beginnings and is a national cricketer. Krista Bailey, who I grew up with, sang in church. She's now a leading vocalist on Island, singing on the world stage at the St. Lucia Jazz and Arts Festival. Freezy! Freezy really brought Denry segment globally with that song Split in the Middle. And did you know that Mr. Reno Kajara grew up in the Badlil? And initially he sold ice cream on our streets. So these remarkable persons, including the likes of Menissa Rambali, the likes of Mary Polius, and of course Heraldine Rock, didn't matter which party they supported, because we know Miss Rock supported the opposition. These persons are all remarkable individuals who persons far and wide in St. Lucia can remember and can recognize. And we want to tell the stories of more persons from Castries Southeast and continue to build the capacity and the talent of these people. So I also spoke of the finance or of the administrative center. And I took a quick jab at PM and asked for that because, I think it can also alleviate some of the traffic congestion in the city. We have the land space. We are the second largest constituency. People can pay their bills right there. People can conduct their transactions right there. You can apply for a loan in a credit union right there. And you can learn how to write a resume right there if you have that administrative center. The next one that you will find is the one that is being developed in the south. And so for Castries Southeast, which has a population or a voting population of over 15,000 persons, but residential of almost 20,000, I believe that, that bringing some sort of economic activity and development to the constituency will really elevate the people. We have some young people who are unemployed, and we are working very quickly on ensuring that one way we tackle them is to give them that sort of skill development in their professions, such as sports. I know the government of St. Lucia has launched a semi-professional cricket league and a semi-professional football league. But Castries Southeast was once known as a constituency filled with national sportsmen and women. And it was a proud moment for me to speak of charity beginning at home when Prime Minister gave me the go-ahead to announce that the lights at the Forestier playing field are already on Island and work begins today as we speak. So the young men and women are really happy about that. Other communities, we are looking at them closely to see how we can develop. And we know how sports can instill discipline. We know how sports can keep our young people occupied, can keep them out of gangs and off the streets. And, sports is just one way to tackle some of these social issues. So in a nutshell, these are some of the things we presented yesterday. And these are some of the things that we'll be working expeditiously on achieving for the people of Castries Southeast.
Yes, just one. Joye, as a young candidate, you're going in with a lot of projects, a lot of youth initiatives, but the mindset of the youth, some of them are not adapt to the conventional 8 to 4 jobs, and we're moving into this trend now where there's digital, there's technology, and even beyond sports, but there's administrative work, there's engineering. How do you see you being able to enable them to transition to this different mindset where you don't just think of going to work with a briefcase, but you could work from home, you could work in the projects. How do you see this transition? Because it has to be necessary from the school age to the streets, to the blocks, but there has to be a transition where the youths could adapt to this new mode of development. How do you see you trying to play a role in that sphere?
Thank you. But we must draw on what already exists, and that is the youth economy. And the youth economy was developed by the Prime Minister. It was a flagship promise of the SLP because we realized that in as much as persons wanted to become lawyers and doctors and teachers, the traditional professions that every child, in some way or form want to be when they grow up, we are seeing that the tide is changing, and COVID really taught us a lesson that some of these professions you're not able to do if you're not able to mingle with people, and we were forced into an era of work from home and virtual engagement. And so you saw a lot of social media businesses springing up, a lot of businesses that just required a laptop and an internet connection. And when young persons come to you with their ideas, like they come and they walk into the office of the youth economy, the office, the staff takes that idea and helps transform it into enterprise. So with the youth economy, you get quicker access to mentorship, to training, to marketing support, and of course to finance. Because ordinarily a young person who does not have a credit line of at least 2 years in a bank will not get a loan. But here is a government coming up with a brilliant initiative to say, we will give you that $5,000. You don't have to pay it back. Just come with us with your idea, however innovative, and we will help you get there. We will help you develop that. So my idea of the administrative center, we will intend, or we hope to at least have a branch of the youth economy there where people can come to apply. And yes, not everybody's into sports, not everybody's into academia, but young people want to do what they want to do. And it is really up to a government to provide the resources and put policies and measures in place to help them achieve those dreams. Thank you very much. Good job. Good job.
Thank you very much.